Its investigating team is expected to table its findings and recommendations in 2 months. City Power spokesperson Isaac Mangina.
City Power remains committed to providing reliable electricity service to all the residents in the city of Johannesburg and also safeguarding the long-term sustainability of the city's electricity network and operating with transparency in the best interest of all our customers.
The friends and family members of EWN Associate Politics editor Sidi Madia have celebrated her life at her final send-off this morning. Many gathered at San Salvador Catholic Church in Leondale in Germiston, where her funeral service was held. Madia passed away in hospital last week after a short illness. Jabli Limbata has more.
Friends, family, colleagues, and government officials filled the San Salvador Catholic Church to pay their last respects to renowned journalist Sidi Madia. Guests were encouraged to wear bold, bright colors, and many were seen in floral and brightly colored clothing. Her closest friends and family stood on the podium sharing their best memories with those in attendance. The overarching message was that Madia was loving, warm and compassionate. Her friend Lizega Tandwa says the legacy of Madia must live on.
What is funny about Sidi is that she interviewed every living president, every prominent leader, living or dead. But she doesn't have a single award. Sidi has an award for best story in this particular year because she never ever submitted her work. Sidi was one of the people she was one person who didn't feel that her work needed to be celebrated. And
she added that in Madia's short career, she achieved almost all she wanted and was deserving of a lifetime award. Jabuli Lambata, Eyewitness News.
And lastly, Italian fashion legend Giorgio Armani has died at the age of 91. The Armani group says he passed away surrounded by his loved ones. Close friends and colleagues are remembering him as the creator, founder and tireless driving force behind the global fashion empire. Armani was widely celebrated for his timeless designs and lasting influence on the fashion industry. A partly Friday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Johannesburg drops to overnight lows of 14, peaking at 30 degrees. Pretoria 17 and 30, and for Vereeniging 8 and 28 degrees. Loluthando Ngeno, Eyewitness News.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
#MSW.
You may begin to feel anxious or excited.
Honest, deliberate, engaging, uncensored.
High dosage administration can cause adverse reactions.
And most importantly, independent in mind and execution.
This is a normal response. Are you ready?
Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Great show as always, Darop.
Thank you, Mr. Marawa. Good show as always.
Great show as always. Thanks.
Great show as always.
Great show as always, Rob. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the wonderful show, Robert. Thank you so much. It always gives me pleasure to speak to someone who's got such an insight.
I love the introduction.
Hey, what is show Marawa? Is up and running for Skukune.
There's a difference between being number one and number two. And right now, maybe you can help me. Maybe sometimes fades from time to time, Brad. At the moment, yes, it's after 5 games, I understand, but who's top of the table?
Yeah, look, it's been an incredible start to the season. I think I've been down this road before. I think at SuperSport there was a couple of times where we went into the half-season break and we were top of the table and let it slip towards the end and had a bad second run.
But there was a time when there was a flip side of that, Brad, where SuperSport were down at the bottom, but ended up winning the league.
I know. Trust me, it wasn't nice.
I just want to congratulate Bradley Grobler on this milestone.
Goes the big proposal! And they pulled one back! Bradley Grobler on debut!
Rob, I would just like to congratulate Bradley Grobler on this historical and monumental achievement, Rob. This one will go down in the annals of PSL as one of the greatest by a local South African player. However, Rob, I'm not surprised because some of us, we have watched his father, Les Grobler, when he used to turn out for Don't Follow Me, Follow the Birds, Rob. He's one of our best strikers in South Africa. Well done, Bradley. Andrew from Rodipot.
Sure.
Again, I know people always mention my dad, and I think I've been very grateful to have him by my side in the football space from the age that I was, 4 or 5 years old, where he got me to love football, and he was by my side all the way.
Wow!
947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live. #MSW.
Maybe kind of giving a hint of what and who will be our legend tomorrow. Hey, stand by for that. But right now, though, it's a very busy show tonight, so I look forward to hosting it right up until 7 o'clock because we're going to be here, there, everywhere, worldwide. It is #MSW Marawa Sports Worldwide. And a big, big weekend. Mike Greenaway is on standby because everybody's been talking about the Springboks selection. What has come through, what has not. Also, another big weekend coming up for Bafana Bafana. We'll go live to Bloemfontein. #MSW, Marawa Sports Worldwide, proudly brought to you by Hollywood Bets.
Let's go! The moments you remember. The games you can't forget. Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM and Rise FM. Powered by Hollywood Bets.
Right, let's not waste any time though. Tonight, the rugby world is on fire. Rassie Erasmus has revealed that his hand can never be predicted. So it's a Springbok squad brimming with experience, yet sprinkled with the shocking selection twists, though, you got to admit. And it's all set, though, for the big game at Eden Park. The All Blacks, that fortress where New Zealand has stood unbeaten in their last 50 test matches. That's also just pretty unbelievable. Well, it's history, though. It's history in the making because for the very first time since 2013, the Springboks returned to do battle at the Cathedral of World Rugby. And that's why joining us to break it all down is a man who knows the game inside out. That's Mike Greenaway, seasoned rugby writer at the Independent Media and also author of the Fireside Springbok. He's part of the Room Dividers. He'll unpack the squad, the strategy, and what it will take as well for South Africa to crack the Eden Park code this Saturday in the Rugby Championship. So always be in touch. Interactive as always, 060-708-0484. And what you thought about the announcement this morning, it was pretty dramatic, I can tell you that much. So 060-708-0484 will give Mike the first bite at it. Mike, thanks so much for joining us. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, folks. What exciting time. It's cheap as about 48 hours now to the most anticipated rugby match since the 2023 World Cup final, New Zealand versus South Africa. The two protagonists back at it at Eden Park. Wow, the countdown is on. Yep, Rassie again, a team selection that, well, look, I mean, he's got 17 guys that he's picked from the last time the Springboks played. Just made a few tweaks here and there, but probably the thing that Rassie's most famous for is notorious, depending on who side of the fence you are, bomb squad. There was talk of would it be 7-1? Would he even go 8-0? Would it be 6-2? And he surprised us all. He's gone very conventional for Rassie Erasmus, 5-3. I mean, when last did we have three background players on the bench? I can't remember.
Yeah, conservative, traditional, that's what everybody's saying. You agree?
Yeah, look, I mean, and this game is going to be one of those extremely tight games. I mean, when these guys play, I think the average score between these two teams in their last 10 encounters or so is something like 22-19 or 22-20. I mean, there's nothing in it. So we are going to see a tight game. I think why Rassie has gone for that split. Forwards are going to be able to last a lot longer in this game. Rain is predicted. It's going to be a wet game. It's going to be a tussle. It's going to be those box kicks that made the box infamous or famous, depending on who you support. I mean, he's got a mini box bomb squad on the bench. A couple of like what we would consider first choice players on the bench, and Volko Low, probably the strongest target prop in the world. He's got Loert de Jager on the bench as well. Jan Hendrik Wessels covering hooker and prop. So I think he wants to finish the game really strongly in terms of the set pieces, having Volko and Loert coming on. So yeah, and then of course, for me, the most important selections there, and really I think Rassie's got out of jail a bit, and I'll explain why, is we've got Sear back at number 8. And the word is he wasn't supposed to play. He's coming back from an injury, but the guy who was supposed to start at number the desperately unfortunate Jean-Luc Dupré picked up an injury in training. And you'll remember he was supposed to against Australia and had a tummy bug on the eve of the game. I mean, the luck this guy has. So Sia's come in, and the word is he wasn't supposed to play this game, but he's good to go. And Peter Steph du Toit also back from a concussion, and Mark van Staden there, and that is the loose trio that was so brilliant in that first half an hour in the first test against the Wallabies when the Boks was so sublime. And in that game, Peter Steph and Sia got injured and were off by the 25th minute. So that great loose trio has been restored, and that's good news.
Yeah, I mean, Pollard, Grant Williams as well. I mean, the halfback pairing.
Yeah, and it's nice to see consistency there. Look, Grant is the number one scrum half. There's no question about it. He has just jumped the queue in the last sort of year or so, and just made the jersey his own. So in a game like this, you go for your best players. So he's starting Andre as well. Well, I mean, this is a game just made for him. This is his bread and butter, a high-pressure game against the best team in the world, arguably. Well, they are number one on the rankings. It's going to be a tight game. It's going to be a wet game. The boot is going to be a huge part of this match, and who wouldn't want Andre Pollard with the reins? So
yeah.
A game made for him.
I mean, a trusted soldier. I remember the debate on Tuesday on the Room Dividers feature with yourself as well as Thando. You've just touched on Rassie and the decision on Sia, Mike. And while we're at it, let's hear what the coach had to say.
I mean, me and Sia had the chat, and he came to me and he said, hey, of course, JL was going to play, Jean-Luc, and Sia had to get through Monday's training, but, you know, we wanted to announce the team internally on Sunday already. And then Sia did pretty well on Monday, and we had to see what his stiffness looked like on Tuesday. And then we said, no, he's actually ready to play, but the team has already been announced. Jesse is the captain, and next week we have both Sia and Jasper back into the mix. And hopefully Peter Steph gets through the game fine. So when, you know, JL did not or injured his knee, you know, it would now be tough to say, okay, Sia, you now captain again, Jesse, or everything that we build it up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So, you know, Sia's suggestion, and all good, the whole team understand that. But Sia's our captain for the rest of the year.
You would say transparency there, Mike, because it's also about the consistency. So if a decision is taken, as Rassie is saying, this was at the time that there was no injury to Jean-Luc Dupré. So he then picked up that little niggle, as they call it, and then they had to shift and bring Sia in. I mean, he's obviously playing, number 8 for the second time in his entire professional career. So when that decision is made, they have to stick to it. Otherwise, you almost kill the team dynamic and the morale of one day you captain Jesse, then, Sia's back, so you can't be captain anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sia apparently magnanimously also said to Rassie, and just in case he wasn't sure about this decision, Jesse must continue, and you know that's the kind of brotherhood they've got in this Springbok team, and Sia will be the first to say, you know, maybe sometimes too much is made about the captaincy. I mean, when they're at that level of professional play, professional performance, and there's so many experienced players, all guys, leaders in that position. It's good to have a captain who's recognised worldwide, but sometimes it doesn't matter as much as the public think. It certainly doesn't to the Springbok players, and you'll hear often having counsel with the senior guys in the team on the field. You know, any one of 6 or 7 teams. So I think the public like to make more of it than the players themselves do.
Yeah, what about the aspect, though? Because I found it quite interesting when you talk about Jesse and some of the strong points that he does have, and one of those is his communication with the referee as well as teammates. That is seen as pretty solid.
Yeah, and he's a calm. He doesn't get in a flap, and I think one of the most important things is he's just so respected by his fellow players. When he was first appointed, a lot of the guys were asked in press conferences what they thought, and they said, well, look, this guy leads by actions. He is the most professional guy amongst us, and the standards there are extremely high. They're all professional. But he's the guy who puts in that extra 10 minutes in the gym. He's that guy who will do a few more laps around the field. He's the guy who looks after himself mentally and physically to a degree that he can't really improve on it. So when you're that respected by your peers, it's easy to captain them. It's easy to lead them. It's easy for Rassie to turn to Jesse because he knows the players will follow him.
Just a quick touch on the All Blacks, because we saw the chess game. It's a case of who's going to be releasing the squad first. Is it me? Is it you? But obviously it was a pretty close split there in the end, Mike. What did you make of the selection? I know Tuesday, again, the whole issue about Scott Barrett coming through, but he does captain the side. The two brothers, Bowden at fly half is there, Jodi's there at centre as well. What do you make of them?
Yeah, no, they're solid. Wow, no, they're a good side, man. And Rassie said, that they got about 5 of the selections wrong, because they were sitting on Monday thinking, who and they had an idea who the team would be. And he said in this morning's press conference when he named his own team, he said we got about. And that's why we delayed for once our selection to the very last minute, because we know they would be puzzling over ours as much. And when you cut down a team's time to analyze you and to prepare countermeasures against who give you a little bit of an advantage. But yeah, 2 very evenly matched teams. As Rassie said, look. This game, it's going to be another one of those 1, 2, or 3 pointers against 2 teams who are extremely well matched.
So you still stick to Boks winning by 3 or 5?
Between 1 and 5, and I'm starting to move closer to the 1.
I can see you creeping very close to that, Mike. Looking forward to it. Look forward to seeing you on Tuesday as well. Thank you so much for the breakdown.
Awesome, guys.
Thank you so much indeed. That's Mike Greenaway, independent media rugby writer and also author of a book, A Springbok History, The Fireside Springbok. We'll take your views as well regarding that. Which way is it going to swing? But you hear what Rassie has to say. He's pretty confident.
No, it's a massive game, and not just for the reason that it's Eden Park and there's many contributing factors. The history, not a lot of our guys who's been here has won in New Zealand. I never won as a player, I think, in New Zealand. And we, as a coach, drew one and won one. So for a lot of the players, even though they're really experienced, it's massive just playing in New Zealand. And down playing it, the only reason I said I don't think we can say with all honesty or openness that it isn't the biggest test match is just because there's teams that's beaten us at home, like Ireland, like Australia. And I just wanted to compare that. We say, if this game's the biggest, what about those games where we were beaten? So no, it is a massive game. It's all other test countries that we play, in my opinion. There's some of the specialness. Ireland's always technically sort of a challenge. In Australia, since the Greg and Larkham days, I always found them very tough to play against. But New Zealand, there's history from the Flower Bomb games since the Cavaliers, since we were little boys watching them. That were the team that they currently won the world again. And when we wanted to get us back onto the map, where people believed in us, everybody, opposition, referees, our own supporters, our own players, it was New Zealand. So no, I'm not trying to underplay it. I just try to say that. To say it's the biggest game, it's a bit of a slap of a face to the team that's beaten us already. But no, it's massive. No, it's exciting. It's nerve-wracking. It's an honor. It's Ari's 100th Test match. It's a big build-up. Rugby championships are all squares. No, it's massive. We are desperately wanting to win this game.
Dividing public opinion. The Room Dividers.
The Room Dividers.
The Room Dividers.
The Room Dividers. Zatu Mamanj.
Tanda Banana, as well as Mike Greenaway, a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
We were sitting here and saying, Rusty's got everything to select by. But why are we where we are now is that starting to become now less of the luxury, but more of the grit.
What I'm certain we're going to see now is that the rotation is over. Pretty much he's going to go with the strongest 23, and that's that 23 from Cape Town. Who's going to play fullback? That is one position where there's a lot of question marks.
I mean, if you ask me who I'll select Fassi, without a doubt. The Springbok are going to eat Ricky Wani for breakfast if he is playing on Saturday. After 8 years, he's still poor with the high ball. And the All Blacks, for the first time, I go into a game and saying that they've got a weak back line.
Hashtag MSW. Hashtag MSW. Hashtag MSW. Live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live. At the same time. Hashtag MSW.
Get money fit with the Nedbank My Goals Plus account and enjoy up to 2% unlimited cashback. Plus, get up to 30% off on flights, up to 10% off on Apple and Samsung devices, as well as 50% off at new Metro, plus much more. So get your money off the bench. Switch to Nedbank today on the Money app. See money differently. Nedbank. We're licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply. Greenbacks membership included.
That's Harold Ned Forest Hotline, Rowan on the line.
Harold, help. Last year, I forgot my wife's birthday.
Whoops, let me guess. Things got a bit hairy, hey?
No, the exact opposite. She swapped my shampoo for hair remover. There's not a hair left on my head.
Ooh, smooth.
Please help me get it right this year.
Oh, you can get a lot more than right. Just visit Net Florist and order the biggest birthday bouquet you can. And your head will be all taken care of. Net Florist, it's easy to show you care.
It's season 2, and the stakes are even higher. South Africa's favorite stars are back at the briefcase, playing for charities close to home and close to the heart. Big names, big hearts, big deals, all made possible by Lotto Star. Don't miss Deal or No Deal Celebrity South Africa, Saturdays at 6 p.m. on SABC1.
Lotto Stars, licensed by the Mpumalanga Economic Regulator. No under 18s. National Responsible Gambling Program. 0800 006 008. T's and C's apply. All games are fixed odds betting events.
Spring has sprung at Stodell's Garden Centres. Transform your garden with 50% off on a massive variety of plants and also 50% off a wide selection of pots. Experience the colour, happiness and buzz of spring when you shop at Stodell's Garden Centres. Visit Stodell's at Bryanston, Ferndale or Menlo Park and add a burst of colour to your garden. Stodell's. Create happiness. Offer ends 7 September. T's and C's apply.
Every day, most of us spend an hour planning, prepping and stressing over what's for dinner. That's around 29,200 hours of your life spent running from grocery store, the kitchen to the fridge to the stove. Why not spend that time running for yourself or towards something you love doing and let You Cook handle dinner, delivered, prepped and ready to cook. So choose You Cook and take back some me time. Visit youcook.co.za to find out how.
Babe,
hey,
are you looking at tiles again? Did you hit the jackpot and not tell me?
A little something like that, darling. With Marawa Insurance, we don't wait 3 years to get something out. It's my cash back. We'll be able to give our kitchen that mini revamp a lot sooner. Aesthetics, babe.
Introducing My Cashback from My Way. Stay claim-free for just 2 years and get 10% of your premiums back to live your way. Go to myway.co.za and get a quote today. My Cashback is a feature on qualifying products paid after 2 claim-free years and all premiums paid. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's apply.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
He's up and running for Skukune.
What a start to the season, Brad. We'll try and relive the goals, the grits, the glory of Brad Grobler. It was knee injury. It was that terrible facial injury that he had that laid you off as far as the 2024-25 season is concerned. And now you start a brand new season and there's a brace.
I always said some of my best seasons came post, disappointing where there was a surgery or whatever went wrong, And at the moment, really feeling good and loving my football.
But what's the driving motivation though? Because a lot of people would have said, you know what, when these injuries, they want to drag me down.
I don't think I give myself enough credit for the mental strength that I actually got, and on top of having that love for football and not wanting to stop. I don't feel 37, I've got to be honest with you. I can do this, and I feel like I can do it for years to come.
More love, more blessings, more life. God did.
Hashtag MSW. Hashtag MSW.
26 minutes after the hour. I said tonight it's a busy show because we're heading into a very busy weekend. National teams, it's the Bok women, it's the Springboks, and of course Bafana Bafana. Dare we forget? Hey, they got to sharpen their blades. For defining clash on the road to the World Cup glory. We do hope that it happens. The final touches, I believe, are complete. The boots are grounded. And right now, though, it's the iconic Free State Stadium in Bloemfontein. Coach Hugo Broos is addressing the media in the next, 4 minutes? So we're going to quickly head down to Bloem because we do have EWN sports reporter Utolagele Mganga on standby. Tolele, thank you so much for being with us tonight. A big evening. In a couple of minutes' time, Hugo Broos addresses the nation. What's expected?
Well, Rob, thank you so much for having me on the show. Obviously, the big talking point is Tebogo Mokoena. There have been talks, there have been rumors, there have been murmurs about Lesotho possibly holding a protest if he does play in this game. Lesotho's coach, Leslie Nonzi, has just addressed the media where he says for him, that's an administrative issue. He's not getting involved in that. But for him, they're just focusing on the game. I think as a goodwill gesture, Lesotho would prefer that Tebogo doesn't play. It's kind of like, okay, we didn't say anything to FIFA and they're not going to handle the matter. But also, don't ruin the good vibes between both of the sides by actually bringing the player on and restarting all of this controversy. But for them, they have been discussing about the fact that, unfortunately, they don't play their home games at their own stadium. And because it's so close to the Maseru border, they are hoping that there are people tomorrow that will come through to the Free State Stadium just to support the team, just to show that they do have the support and can cause maybe a surprise. I think with Hugo Broos, when he looks at his side, very different team from the one that played Lesotho earlier in this year. We know the two injuries that have forced changes within the squad, but he did speak about Sipho Mbule possibly being a player that could likely replace Themba Zwane in the squad long term. Of course, should we qualify for the World Cup, there are questions about whether or not the Mamelodi Sundowns man will be able to get onto that flight to America. So Hugo Broos, he always spoke about building towards the future. We know that the June friendly games were examples of what is possible. So now he has to find the balance of kind of rejigging the squad with some of his favorite players, but also giving an opportunity to the new faces that have really impressed within the league, within the COSAFA Cup, and for them to take this opportunity because Nigeria is around the corner. You can experiment against Lesotho, but against Nigeria, you cannot afford any mistakes.
Well, it's been very solid, Hugo Broos, about that. That's why I quickly go back to the comment about a goodwill gesture coming through. Was this Tolagale said in jest, or were they being serious about it? Because I don't see Hugo Broos budging to anything like that.
I think for Leslie, so he's in an uncomfortable position where obviously it's a matter that it is there in the air, but he can't speak of it as a coach because he can't really misstep. So his suggestion is just, for him, he's just focusing on what is happening on the pitch, and then administratively they'll speak about it. But of course, we've heard of FA members actually going out into the media and say that if they do play Tebogo Mokoena, for them it'll be an issue. But for the coach, he's choosing rather to focus on the players that he has available, the ones that he needs to focus on, and the Bafana Bafana squad, and the ones that he is expecting to play. I don't think he sees Tebogo Mokoena in that lineup, but it's not a matter that he officially wants to address. He's saying it's a matter for their board to deal with, whatever the lineup is tomorrow.
And yeah, just in a minute, because we don't want to hold you back, we'll always go back to Inner Bloemfontein after Hugo Broos has addressed the media to find out firsthand what it is that he's had to say, because I'm sure his trusted soldiers would have whispered to him what was happening in the other press conference as well.
Absolutely.
Do you think there would be a little bit of a tit for tat to say, I heard this, therefore that?
I think one thing that I've learned with Hugo Bruce over the almost 4 years in charge, with him, he really just focuses on what the players need to do. There can be noise and chaos around him. He's just going to focus on what his team can do. His concerns are a little bit bigger than a possible situation that might not or might happen. For him right now, it's about making sure that he's putting his best 11. He has spoken earlier in the week about concerns about the quality of the league. So there'll be issues about that for him. He'll be looking at the players that are selected. Are all of them in form? If he does take the risk of fielding players that haven't worn the national team jersey before, can they live up to the expectation? So I think his concerns are far bigger than whatever is happening administratively. That's SAFA's issue to deal with. His is to deal with matters on the pitch.
Yeah, because that argument always goes back to say who was closest to the coach. Didn't they not know? Did they not count? Did not do their admin? But the main focus is we can always look at permutations, and permutations are exactly that. So-and-so has to beat so-and-so, and if Nigeria draw in Rwanda, don't get maximum points there for South Africa. It's pretty straightforward. It's about qualification. You beat Lesotho, you beat Nigeria. It's a different story.
I know it's 10 years on, but our maths hasn't really gotten great since then. But let's not do the maths. Let's just do our job. Coach Hugo was speaking during the week that he was saying that if we win our game, Nigeria play the next day, the pressure is always on them to make sure that they're equaling whatever South Africa are doing. So I think that's one thing that he's possibly going to reiterate in the press conference, where it's really about focusing on themselves. Whenever we start looking at what other people are doing, once they score that first goal, get a second goal, get a third goal, those are things that South Africa should be concerning themselves about. Once that full-time whistle blows, then there'll be other matters that they'll have to deal with. They can start looking at the Nigeria result and whatever that brings. But if they do their job, everything else will fall into place.
All right, so I don't want you to miss a beat or a single word. I think it sounds like it's going to be an interesting press conference, so we'll have more from you, Tholakele, later on.
Thank you so much, Rob.
All right, that's EWN sports reporter Tholakele Mganga, reporting live, though, from Bloemfontein. Hugo Broos, though, in a previous press conference, addressed the World Cup, the approach, and what he thinks.
You know, I observed very good during training. And in the past, with all those new guys who came with us, there was never a problem. So when I should see that one of the new ones should be too nervous or do other things than what they do in the club because they want to prove or to show me how good they are, it will not last 2 minutes. And I'm saying, I will call them and I will tell them, what are you doing, guy? You don't have to prove me now. Just play like you always play. Just show your qualities like you always do. There is no difference between a national team training and a club training. There is no difference. The only difference is that the level will be a little bit higher on Tuesday, and certainly on Friday, and certainly on Tuesday, because their opponent is better. But I don't see any problems for that. They will show it. I'm 100% sure of it.
All right, so we'll bring you the latest coming through from Bloemfontein as that press conference begins. As we speak, I just started about 2 minutes ago. So Tholakele will give us the latest update just before we say goodbye at the top of the hour to unpack what the national team has had to say. I can't overemphasize the importance of the weekend that we're getting into at all levels. Whether it's Saturday, Sunday, the Bok women, the Springboks, Bafana Bafana. There's just an electrifying atmosphere in the air. Anything can happen. History can be made on all three fronts. And that is where we stand right now. So we'll take your thoughts as well, whether it's about the Bok selection, the All Blacks, whether it's about what you've heard now from Tholakele regarding not fielding Mokoena. I mean, does that even make sense? I suppose I can understand where Lesotho comes from in terms of that, to say, hey, we didn't lodge a protest about it. The other nations did. But if you play him against us, then you're causing more problems for us. Where does that leave South Africa? If you were Coach Hugo Broos, what would you do? Would that even be an issue? Because that's one of the first names that he would put down on his list is Teboho Mokoena. He knows that. But under these conditions and situations and things hanging in the air, what do you do? I wonder what Dan Malesela would do. Because you and I always have had the idea of the characters that are within SA football. I mean, the visionaries, the firefighters, as they call them. and one person that we haven't touched base with in a long time, and I thought, hey, let's bring him on. I mean, he's known to be a game saver. You know, when they say there's a savior out there, he will rescue you. When things are bad at these clubs, when ships are about to sink, I mean, the man is tasked with pulling them back from the brink. I mean, you go back from Chipper United to TS Galaxy to his previous spell at Baroka. I mean, his name has kind of become synonymous with stepping in when the pressure is at its highest. And of course, now he does return, though, to familiar territory. That's Dan Malesela back in the hot seat at Baroka FC. But this time, though, it is different. I mean, for once, he hasn't come in to patch up a broken season. I mean, he's starting from the beginning, which is great. He's going to be building a project with the clear goal of guiding the team back into top flight SA football. So 2 games in, 1 victory, 1 defeat. The mission is underway. So I don't know what the mandate is from the club. What are his lessons from the past? He joins us all the way in Limpopo. Dan Dance, good to speak to you. Good evening.
Hey, Robs, how are you? It's been a while. Man.
I haven't heard this voice in a long time. Good to hear from you.
Good to hear from you too, man.
Well, firstly, congrats on the project. I mean, I always love to know that you're part of something from the beginning and not part of saving something, as I've mentioned. How's it feeling on your side? How is it to begin from where it should begin?
It's some kind of a relief, you know, that you start with a club, and you know, if you succeed, then you say yes, I did well, or we did well. You know, if you fail, it probably would be your own doing, or the failures that we face through football. You know, so but it's good to start with a team, you know, and good to be able to have a say in terms of player accumulation and something like that. I don't know if that's the right word, accumulation, you know, and or player recruitment. Because normally you find players that you have to work with, you know, and sometimes it's not okay. I know somebody will say, no, but you went to Marawa and it was in the preseason, but that was 5 weeks after, you know.
All right, looks like our live connect there with Dan Dance take a bit of a strain, so hopefully we try and correct that and get him back on the line again. That's Dan Malesela, all the way in Limpopo, Baroka FC coach. Dan, you still there? All right, we'll try and resolve that line. It seems we're struggling a little bit with it, but worry not. I think the word struggle kind of circulates around Dan Dance. Maybe it does circulate around him. But he's here to dispel all of those rumors and a whole lot more. I was want to find out exactly in terms of the mandate that the club has given him for this season. I think Baroka is one of those outfits that has a solid name within the professional ranks. It's one of those teams that, I mean, we don't call it a team that changes hands in terms of ownership. It stayed pretty solid. They just want to try and fight their way back into Premiership football, and that's why they bring the experience of Dan Dance from the beginning. Sorry, Dan, I think we lost you as you were explaining just, you know, the excitement of the beginning, the fact that it's not a house that's burning down that you're looking after right now.
Yeah, you know, it's actually some kind of a relief that you have your choice of players. You know, you have a say in terms of who must be there, who must not be there. Yes, there's obviously debates around players most of the time, but you know, in the end, we end up agreeing, you know, on who to take in, who not to take in, you know, and what the progress must be. You know, I always have a say in terms of the equipment I want on the field, you know, and you know, the equipment I want the club to have. I made the chairman build some some training facilities here at the village, so it's better, it's better. Much better.
All right. On that positive note, we're going to take a quick break. Dan will come back on that much better. He talks about the training facilities, and I think a lot of people that have been to the Baroka FC training facilities will tell you about it being world class. I mean, I haven't had the opportunity or the privilege to go there. I think I'll take up the chairman, as he has opened that invitation before, to go and see what is it that they're doing differently and how they hope to improve.
#MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live at the same time. #MSW.
Why pay more for business banking? Does your account come with a private jet, a 5-star lunch, a butler named James? Didn't think so. At Capitec, you get the same low fees as personal banking, so you always know what you get and what you pay. Open your account in minutes and save up to 50% on transaction fees. Visit capitecbank.co.za to get started. Capitec, the business bank for everyone. Capitec is an authorized FSP. 46669. Conditions apply.
Hello, nice. Dim the lights and put your phone on Do Not Disturb. Because this season is the ultimate pleasure ride. Nandi and Jacob, fatal attraction. Secrets, lies, mystery, and seduction. Now that's the type of guilty pleasure we like. On Fatal Seduction Season 2, now playing on Netflix. Basic plan from 99 Rand a month. T's and C's apply.
In the streets of Mzansi, two unstoppable hustlers take center stage. The Suzuki Eco, the cargo king. The Suzuki Super Carry, the efficient workhorse. These vehicles are your business in motion. And now, when you buy one, you'll get it branded on us. That's Economics 101. Get an Eco or Super Carry today to turn your ride into the ultimate moving billboard. Visit suzukiauto.co.za to book a test drive and to drive your hustle forward in style. T's and C's apply.
What would you do with R1 million? Would you spend it on your dream home? Or start fresh by clearing all your debt? Would you get that sweet ride? Or pay for your child's education? Or take a year off and see the world? To celebrate 25 years of Montego Classic, we're making these dreams come true for one lucky South African. To enter, buy a bag of Montego Classic dog or cat dry food. See in-store for details or visit montego.co.za.
It's that time of the year. Sneezing, itchy, watery eyes, blocked noses and coughs. It's time to live, work, play and sleep allergy-free. For trusted relief for you and your family this allergy season, ask your pharmacist for the Adcock Ingram OTC Allergy Survival Pack. With products like Allergex Non-Drowsy, Cetisid, Levogex and more, we have you covered. Remember, Adcock Ingram OTC. And visit beprepared365.co.za.
Hip hip hooray! It's Hirsch's massive birthday sale from the 26th of August to the 23rd of September. We have incredible deals on your favorite TVs, appliances, beds, and more. Save a whopping 1,000 Rand when you purchase a Bosch dishwasher for 7,999 or get a Siemens front loader washing machine for 8,999. These and other amazing birthday deals available in store online at Hirsch's.co. Hirsch's, we will save you money.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Bradley Grobler is up and running for Skukune.
Well, the record breaker himself, Bradley Grobler, is on the line with us, a renowned South African footballer. In fact, at the age of 37, is doing what a lot of people who are in their teenage years can't even imagine.
You're chatting with an absolute legend in the PSL. And in my opinion, one of the most unluckiest, if not the unluckiest guy, not to wear Bafana jersey regularly.
Unluckiest not to wear that Bafana Bafana jersey as regularly as we would have wanted you to be?
Something that's been difficult over the years. I think, that's when I really went through, some of the more serious injuries. And I was in and out, and it became difficult. Always was my dream to wear that national jersey as often as I could, and that is one thing that does just leave a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. I got to be honest.
God's plan. #MSW. #MSW.
Good evening, Robert.
this is the man. I think, Robert, right now we're talking of water under the bridge. This is spilled water. There's nothing we can do. But the best is to await FIFA's ruling, then sideline Teboho Mokoena. Unlike having a concern, cause another concern on top of the concern you already have. If I was Hugo Bruce, I'll definitely not put Mokoena in the team list and explain to the player regarding the situation at hand. I think prevention is better than cure here. We can talk reason, but let's await the outcome. Good choice always.
That man, I think that's a very sober approach. Concern on top of concern, what does it solve? We're live in Limpopo, we're live in Bloemfontein as the story is unfolding. The press conference currently underway. We'll find out from Tolagele a little bit later on, though, what has been said by the head coach of Bafana Bafana, Hugo Bruce. Right now, though, Dan Malesela on a brand new season, a brand new start. And coach, I mean, I'm looking at the log here, 2 games in, you've had a win, you've had a loss. I mean, what's your honest assessment of how the team has started the campaign?
Yeah, I think we faltered big time in the first match, couldn't convert. When it happens in the game, we couldn't convert, but I don't think we were as emphatic as we should have been in the first match, because lately we have developed this thing of scoring goals, because I don't remember too many friendlies that we played where we haven't scored. So we just faltered in the first match. I think there were just too many excuses that we made as a team. And we're good that we redeemed ourselves in the second game.
When you talk about redeeming yourselves, what was it that needed to be fixed?
Well, it's the understanding of the approach and what we set out together as our objectives for the season, because we all agreed that we should push for promotion, and automatic know-how, so if we falter in the first match, it sort of sets us back a little bit, because now you have to recover, not only point-wise, but you also recover psychologically, because now it makes you a bit desperate, And we also said that, look, we're going to have a break after 2 matches, and if we collect 6 points, it will bring a huge relief and a huge sense of confidence, towards the other matches that are coming.
I've always loved Dan Malesela. From the days he played for the Pirates, he was captain, cool as a cat at the back, when he played for Mandu Sundowns. And when he became a coach, the style of play, the players are comfortable under him from the back. It's like sometimes you're watching Barcelona. He's a good coach. I don't know how it came about that he didn't coach Orlando Pirates, because the kind of players that Orlando Pirates have with Dan Malesela and his type of coaching, the type of play, no. Players that play under Tentens are fearless from the back to front to the middle. That's how good he is. I just wish him luck. I just wish him the best of luck.
But that's the kind of luck, Dan, that people are wishing, because they know your hand, they know your DNA, they know what style of play you want. When you hear a message like that, does that motivate you in terms of the season that lies ahead with you in Baroka?
Yes, it does. It does a lot, because, sometimes you ask yourself,
all right, Dan Malesela, all the way up in Limpopo. We'll see if we'll get him back for the third time. I hope he does, though, because you and I remember how, there was this big splash in the media about how things ended so badly between him and Baroka. So what was it with the management that they were able to patch up because if you have such a public split and such a nasty one, you would think that he would never go back there. But here he is now. So what was spoken behind the scenes? What was it that was patched up between the management as well as himself? But still, while we chat to Dan, we're still taking lots of your reactions, though, regarding this coming weekend from a national team perspective.
Good evening, Mr. Rob. It's Fulang here, and good evening, Mr. British Shoulders. It's a big weekend. I really can't wait for the action that's going to be taking place. I think the FIFA break that leads to the FIFA World Cup is always exciting, is always exhilarating, and at the moment, we're finding ourselves in a position where we can actually do something that we've done, what can I say, more than 2 decades ago, and that is to qualify for a World Cup. Yeah, sure, we last played a World Cup in 2010, but we didn't even qualify for the 2010 World Cup. We were hosts. We last did that in 2002. I wasn't even there in 2002. Having said that, it's up to Bafana Bafana to do themselves a massive favor by getting these 6 crucial points against Nigeria and Lesotho respectively. They should ignore the outside noise, focus on themselves, and do the job by themselves so that we do not have to rely on Mang getting a certain result to go their way. So I do expect Bafana Bafana to do themselves a massive favor and to do the country a favor. Surely they can wrap up their group campaign in a positive manner. Great show as always. Thanks.
No, thank you so much indeed. And I agree with you, though. That's why I avoided talking about permutations with Tolagale early on, because I just believe that we should not be there. We should not rely on these things and finding out what. I don't even want to mention those permutations right now. They know the mandate. You see, in the same way, as I'm chatting to Dan Dance, he knows his mandate. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. He'll tell me in just a second. But from a Bafana perspective, it's straightforward. In Blom, the whole country is waiting. Can South Africa finally do it? The whole world, like they were watching the FIFA Club World Cup. This World Cup next year is probably going to be the biggest spectacle showpiece you can ever imagine. Especially because the bulk in America, Mexico, Canada, it's a different World Cup. So how many years must we keep watching from the sidelines? So that's the big question. Dan's back on the line again. I know that we got cut off mid-sentence, but Dan, let me advance what you were saying. And I know I spoke about what is the expectation that's coming through from the team. Is there a mandate before things get a bit rough and the way things fell off with you and the club the last time? I would imagine that you've patched things up now, but what are they expecting from you in terms of deliverables?
To obviously get the team promoted, I think we are fortunate to have acquired a good sponsorship that has got vision as well, and that is very supportive of me and the players, and the technical team, So, we need to credit ourselves and, and also credit the people that are supporting us, with something. You spoke about the facility here. We have one very after stadium, we use it for training. I use it partially so for training because we've got another training facility. And all these things you don't find even in big clubs, where you have your own facility. So this club, if there's anything, I think this club deserves to be in the top flight.
You deserve to be in the top flight if you've got a good coach. I believe you're a good coach. Do you have a good squad?
Yeah. Yes, we have. Yes, but we still need to beef up there and there, because now I'm sitting on 25 players. I think I need 3 more. So yeah, I don't like leading 3 players because I'm creating problems for myself. I know I'll be getting calls left, right, and center.
But hey, coach, that league is, what's to be expected. You know what happens down there. You've got a Cape Town City that's going to be fighting for their lives to get back. Otherwise, they will look at what's happened to Cape Town Spurs and say, hey, is this the end of the dynasty for, Cape Town City? You got Black Leopards who want to come back. You've got newcomers. You've got about the Bees that you've played with. You've got Castric who are always there and thereabout. So it's a difficult league. And if you don't beef up now, then when are you going to do it?
Well, I'm looking, because I'm trying to be very particular in terms of what we get. It's just not talent and talent, just talent. It's people who contribute, because these 3 slots are left for people that will be very special, to us, and very contributory to what we want to get. It's difficult, I know, at this time to find the good players without clubs, but I have a knack of identifying certain players that people don't see something in them, even the young ones, because I think I'm fortunate. Maybe it's the upbringing I got from the School of Excellence, to be able to turn certain so-called ordinary players into much better players. So I'm hoping to find some of those.
Now, this journey of possession-based, entertaining style of football, I mean, that philosophy has stuck with you. Is it a philosophy that can work in an NFD jungle?
It can, because now we've incorporated goal scoring into it. I've come up with a much better approach, I think. That allows us to score goals. Because sometimes I'm one who believes that it doesn't matter. Sometimes, not always. Yes, we have to keep clean sheet and whatever. But sometimes it's difficult to do that. But it doesn't matter how many the opponent scores, so long as you score more than them.
Who's the biggest threat, coach, in that NFD setup? Who's the biggest threat in terms of the Motsepe Foundation Championship?
At the moment, everybody, because you really don't know who's got who. We don't have the privileges of getting footage of other clubs and all these things, So at the moment, it's everybody.
Yeah, Dan, I can only wish you the best. It's an exciting journey.
It's not a diplomatic answer, is it?
Oh, I know. We're going to be chatting later in the season. I know your chairman is going to be saying, you see what I told you? We've got the right man. Everything is working out. The general outlook. I mean, he runs that ship like a proper premiership club. And I think luck just hasn't come his way. I mean, the way he conducts the press conferences, like you said, the facility that is available. The only thing now is good coaching and maybe just a touch of good luck.
Yeah. And good performances from the players as well.
I know
because that's the key thing.
I know you'll bring it out of the boys. Dan Malesela. Thank you so much, Baba. And good to hear your voice again. Good luck with the project.
Sharp, bro.
Appreciate it, man. Dan Malesela, the coach there of Baroka. And, what a season they have ahead of them. Dog-eat-dog type of scenario over there. I kind of broke away with the last minute or so left of the show because, I suppose the football world has just had the breaking news that the Tottenham Hotspur chairman, Daniel Levy, has stepped down after 24 years in charge. So I think not too many people expected that. So the chairman, Daniel Levy, has announced his exit from the club after 24 years at the helm. So we're going to quote here what Daniel said. He says, I'm incredibly proud of the work that I've done together with the executive team and all our employees. We've built this club into a global heavyweight competing at the highest level. He says, more than that, we've built a community, and I was lucky enough to work with some of the greatest people in this sport. From the team at Lily Whitehouse, at Hotspur Way, to all the players and managers over the years. And I wish to thank all the fans, though, who have supported me over the years. It hasn't always been an easy journey, but significant progress has been made, and I will continue to support this club very passionately. So Peter Charrington, the non-executive chairman, also responded saying that he's very honored to become the non-executive chairman of this extraordinary club. So a new era of leadership for the club on and off the pitch, recognizing that there's a lot of change in recent months that has come about. So big change there, all you Spurs fans. Your chairman has stepped down, and it's on that level that we leave the show tonight. It has been #MSW Marawa Sports Worldwide, proudly brought to you by Hollywood Bets. Catch you again tomorrow.
The thrill, the drama, the action.
Play the game again.
Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM and Rise FM. Powered by Hollywood Bets. #MSW live now on 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live at the same time. #MSW.